Welcome, CEOs. I am Hermione Olivia, and I invite you to cherish every opportunity to connect the dots. CEO Yourself was inspired to be a destination for motivation and to inspire you wherever you are on your journey to become the CEO of your life. Coming up on this week's episode of CEO Yourself.
To me, of success and of collaboration is being able to really put all the pieces of the puzzle together in a way that, brings and creates and grows this vision. I've always been a kind of, very much a kind of glass is full type person, not even half, but full. And I like to find the opportunity in any kind of challenging situation. When you're not even trying to, you'll come up with some idea. So I would say being able to switch off, to make sure you take that time and to almost know.
Serena Hood is co-founder and CEO of Collagerie, the interiors, fashion and beauty shopping platform leading the way with brand partnerships with the likes of Zara Home and John Lewis. In this week's episode, we deep dive her CEO superpower, collaboration. Serena, welcome to CEO Yourself.
Thank you for having me.
It's so brilliant to have you here since we met all those years ago, watching what you've built with Collagerie since you launched in 2020. Just before end of 2019. Has been phenomenal. Starting with your first collaboration with Papier during lockdown to your most recent Zara Home collaboration, which is just astounding. How have you built such a successful platform in such a short period of time?
Well, going back to the beginning, Collagerie was born out of really a light bulb moment. Lucinda and I had left Vogue. We were having a coffee and catching up. And we were talking about how we couldn't identify one site that brought together the best of what's out there across every price point. We're very different ages. We have very different styles. But we both love mixing high street with, a luxury item that we'll invest in for years to come, and then discovering all the sort of, discovery brands, sustainable brands, in between. And so that was really the beginning. We wanted to create something that really sort of felt different. So I think that trust and authenticity was there from the very beginning and has been a big part of our success. And what you see today rings true to that sort of idea that we had over that coffee, where we truly share the best of what is out there and the most beautiful product and design that we ourselves would want to buy.
You're obviously incredibly good at collaborating as a founder duo. How do you define your roles and responsibilities within the team?
Well, that, between Lucinda and I as co-founders, it happened very naturally. I'm CEO, and, in my previous positions working in publishing and actually for brands too, I did PR at Marc Jacobs and Armani. I've always been more the intermediary between sort of the creative and the business. Lucinda and I sat across the desk from each other at Vogue, and she was, fashion director there. And alongside, her tenure at Vogue, she also did design consultancies. So designed for Prada and for Marni. And so, she's chief creative officer. I'm CEO, and it's been a natural kind of yin and yang of a relationship.
You've used collaborations throughout the years in the most incredible fashion, starting with your Papier collaboration during lockdown to Zara Home recently, and I hear there's another one on the cards.
Yes. We are launching our 8th product collaboration with John Lewis next week. Going back to, success and collaboration and sort of how we have built the brand, I would say that, so much of it came about very organically. If I look back to our original business plan, we actually didn't have product collaborations in there. We had launched Collagerie, and actually I sat next to Taimur at a founder's dinner and really admired what he was doing with Papier, I still do, and, the kind of success of the business he's built. And, we were talking and the outcome of the dinner was, let's try and do a collaboration together. This was right at the beginning of lockdown. We designed the whole collection on Zoom and, co-marketed it together at the launch. Obviously, they had a much bigger following than we did at that stage. And I think what was really fascinating was to see the impact of this collaboration come about, and, tapping into, and, sort of a new audience came to us that we wouldn't have otherwise maybe attracted to the business. And so they sort of spun out from there. We then worked after that with Penelope Shilvers on a shoe collection. And, fast forward to today, we have worked with Zara Home, which we launched over the summer, Strathbury, Jigsaw, the Conran shop. So, to say that, these have, been a success for us would be an understatement. It's been a really key and pivotal part of our growth as a business.
It would be no surprise then to our listener that collaboration is your CEO superpower, which you've referenced as the key kind of turning point of the brand in so many ways, in brand partnerships and with your business partner. What does collaboration mean to you?
Collaboration to me transcends just design. It's how you approach business, whether that is with customers, with clients, and with your team. So I would say that, it starts actually, pretty simply in a sense that we all sit in one office. There's no hierarchy. I mean, I think that, yes, we have different positions within the company, but, we have a team of 15. I think everybody does feel very collaborative in a sense that you can, go to any member of the team. You can work together on, solving problems or on ideas. And actually, as founders, what we love is that the team feels very open coming to us with those. I don't know what that looks like when you are, say, 100 to 150 people, but right now, it works very well for us. And I think that I've always taken a very collaborative approach in all of my positions during my career. I mean, I remember starting out at American Vogue as a fashion assistant, and, when we were, the fashion director there wanted to have, Louis Vuitton look 25 that went down the runway in Paris, at a cover shoot in LA within 24 hours, you work with the PR representative there to make it happen. And I think that I've always seen challenges as an opportunity. I'm not scared by them. I'm excited by them. And I would say that, working in a startup, it is not like working in a big company. It's not for everyone. And actually, when we're interviewing team members, I always say to them, startup life isn't for everyone, but it is really exciting. There's highs and lows. It is a roller coaster. And, my advice would be that, a startup might be the kind of place for you if you find that exciting. And if you, are sort of feeling scared by it or fearful, I think what, Lucinda and I really want to encourage our team members to do is sort of find the excitement and the joy and, look at kind of the bigger picture with us and work with us towards that. But, we're very lucky. We have a fantastic team, and I love hiring and working with team members who know things we don't. And listening to them. So I would say that that's probably one of the key metrics to me of success and of collaboration, is being able to really put all the pieces of the puzzle together in a way that, brings and creates and grows this vision, this overarching vision of inspiring people to buy.
You just said we see challenges as an opportunity. Talk to the listener out there about how they can face challenges and turn them into an opportunity.
Well, I mean, look at COVID, right? Nobody could have foreseen how our lives would change with COVID. And we were 3 months into our journey at Collagerie. And actually, a huge part of our plan for year one was to have face-to-face community events. So, when I go back to that original business plan and, collaborations might not have been in there, what was in there was key community events and growing our audience through kind of meeting people face-to-face. Now, that wasn't an option. So, what we did is, rather than be kind of scared by that, we sat down as a team. We were actually only 5 people then. We still have, many of those team members here today who work with us. And, we sat down, we could pivot, we don't hold any inventory, so we could pivot our content towards, what would resonate at the time. It was sort of loungewear, cooking, recipes, interiors. There was a huge focus and shift to looking at your home because we were spending so much time there. So, we were lucky in that sense. And I think that, I'm always been a kind of, very much a kind of glass is full type person, not even half, but full. And I like to find the the opportunity in any kind of challenging situation. So that excites me. And I like to be able to motivate the team to think in that way too.
I found a quote from Virgil, and he said, "The whole point of collaboration is that you give and take from each other, and that's how you create things that are totally new." Talk to me about your team and how you're building a meaningful and authentic culture and how you use each other to create newness.
I would say that, a huge part of that is listening to each other. So sitting down, one of my favorite parts of the job, and one of the things that I most enjoy working with the team on, is that, we will sit down at a table, we'll think about something on our roadmap or even a partnership with a brand, and we'll leave that table with an idea or even 3 ideas that we pitched to, the brand we might work with and get their take on. But, I think a huge part of success in collaboration is face-to-face. I'm a big believer in, now that we can go back to the office, we should go back to the office. And especially for a small company like ours, so much, comes from that face-to-face interaction, either one-on-one with a team member or even as a group around a sort of table. And we have kind of blue sky thinking mornings, that, is just sort of where everyone can throw their ideas around. And what I just love is that you don't know what's going to come out of them. So I would say that, collaboration, one of the things that I think is very important is encouraging those to be face-to-face.
You work at a monumental speed, and I know you visualize big goals and dreams and ambitions for yourself. How do you realistically put these goals and visions into practice? I mean, even just hearing about your blue sky thinking meetings, I think that would be really helpful for the listener to think about the practicality of bringing that roadmap to life.
Yeah. So we have twice a year, we present a roadmap to the team of sort of, what our kind of goals are from a what KPIs we're looking to get to, attaching those to certain milestones on the roadmap, whether they're online or physical, for example, something like a pop-up store. So we map those out. I have an operations director we hired last year who helps me do that. So, a lot of the time it's sort of talking about the vision and what we're looking to achieve. And then she helps, put that sort of down on something tangible that we can work off of. And then, we present that to the team. We give everyone their sort of individual or group kind of key metrics to work towards. And, but they don't always go to plan. And I think being able to pivot and, kind of all together work around what might not have worked, but then think about how we can do something else. And that can be kind of a new roadmap objective. So I would say it's that communication that's really key. One of the things recently that, interestingly, I didn't anticipate it would be so collaborative, but actually it turned out to be was we raised part of our investment round on Crowdcube. And, it gave a lot of transparency to the team on, kind of company goals. Everyone had a hand in it, whether it was across marketing, whether it was across putting our rewards together for those who are going to invest in us. And, the kind of energy that came about from it was really fantastic. So sometimes it comes from places you don't actually kind of expect. And I would say that also a lot of kind of that advice along the way about how you can make kind of, your strategy more collaborative is talking to other founders, and I definitely could not have done this journey. Well, number one, without my business partner, Lucinda, but two, going to founders who are slightly more ahead in their journey and asking them advice talking to them about how they have overcome certain challenges, how they work with their teams, how they put certain procedures or operations into place has been invaluable.
It sounds like you're incredibly respectful and transparent with your team.
We are. I mean, I'm a big believer in letting individuals and get on with their jobs. So I would say that, I have been in positions previously where I was micromanaged, and I don't think it's necessarily effective. I think that you can be very clear in what you're looking to get to and almost give team members the chance to find their way of doing it. I mean, obviously, if they need help getting there is support. And I always say, come to me, for anything. Bring me to the client meeting, if you want me there. So I think that they feel that, as founders, we are there to listen to them and give them the time when needed. But I also believe in not being overbearing and really allowing individuals to sort of give them the room to kind of get on with it. And I think, that even, we were talking earlier about children. And I think that when you give children independence, it's sort of amazing what they can come up with and do on their own. So it's not always easy to sort of step back, and especially when you have quite a clear idea in your mind about how something could be. But I think it really helps individuals grow and learn.
Let's use this moment to pivot into what it's like being a working mum. You're incredibly ambitious and you're hitting all these extraordinary milestones, and you have 2 kids. How do you balance the juggle of it all?
Well, balance, I would say. I mean, what is the key to success? I mean, I don't know, but I think balance is a huge part of that, and how you can feel that you are moving things forward and achieving, whatever that might be, while also looking after yourself. I think, what's interesting, at the beginning when we were starting Collagerie, I mean, I have to say, I remember listening to a podcast of a founder who had sort of IPO'd for, a huge amount, and he said, I never take a holiday. And I thought, oh gosh, is that the only way to build a successful company? Like, to not be able to take any time off? And I think what I really realized is that you can burn out, and you have to put measures in place to ensure that doesn't happen, not only for you, but for your team and your family. And so the more the longer I'm in this, I guess, and the longer I've been a founder, the more I really try to, I diarize it now. I never did that before. I always thought that exercise came after that, maybe even preparing, fresh, healthy meals came after. And now I'm really trying to actually prioritize that as much as the job. So that can be hard. That's not easy, but it's time and organization.
Because I don't know about you, but I find not even a holiday, but when I truly switch off, as in my phone and my laptop are away, that's when all my best ideas come to me.
I mean, 100%.
And when I burn out, I'm working less efficiently anyway.
I completely agree. And you know what? It can even be a morning. Mm-hmm. You just, you're going for a walk in the park. And suddenly, when you're not even trying to, you'll come up with some idea. So I would say being able to switch off, to make sure you take that time and to almost know and to preempt it. So that's
allowing space.
It's allowing space. Yeah. And I think it also makes you a better founder, and makes you a better wife, and makes me a better mother. So that I'm still learning, but I'm trying to be much better at it.
Let's talk about joy, because you talk about how Collagerie brings joy into shopping. How do you find joy in every day, and how can the listener find joy in a startup, which is incredibly busy and stressful, let's be honest?
Do you know what's really interesting? When you start something from such a passion, you don't even have to think about the joy, because it comes naturally. And I would say that, one of the things with Collagerie that was kind of the heartbeat from the start was not just offering something that we didn't think was out there, but how the brand can feel very different to other websites. And so everything to do with the design, to the imagery, to the context plays a key role in the brand itself and kind of what we're building. So when we hear from our community, Collagerie is the first thing they do, look at in the morning or the last thing they look at before they go at night. With that, to me, is this sort of, a testament to the fact that it does bring joy. It's meant to take you somewhere else. And I think that's really rare online. And, I guess you can start a business, in a day. You can build it on Squarespace. But I think what doesn't come about every day is, a brand you fall in love with. And I hope that we can be that for, hundreds and thousands and millions around the world, and bring joy to shopping online and hopefully offline too. There's more that we want to do, bringing the brand offline into the real world in the future.
Your motto is the one thing over everything. And in that, I feel that you're building a brand that is solving a problem, and it's inspiring, which is what I'm intending to do with CEO Yourself. How important do you think it is for the woman out there listening who has a business idea to solve a problem?
I would say, do you know something? For me, it was always sort of inextricably linked. I didn't think, it was never a case of I want to start a business and I didn't know what it was. It was a sense of, we just had this really good idea to solve our own problem, and it naturally progressed from there. And I have quite a few friends. I turned 40 last year. I have friends who, had successful careers. They had one child or they had a second child. That career just didn't work for them anymore, whether it was the time, the financial situation, but they're still really passionate about doing something and have ideas. And I would say that, you have to try, you have to give it a go. And I always encourage my friends, if you have that idea, go for it. But what's really important, and I think what Lucinda and I were very focused on in the beginning, was the infrastructure and ensuring that if you are going to go for it and build something, to put the building blocks in place, because it will make it all easier, for you at the beginning, but also much further down the line.
That's such good advice.
And that is time, and it's not always, you see, I think as a founder, and what you see in social media and, PR, you see the sort of, one side of it. You do not see the flapping that goes on underneath, and there is a lot of flapping. So, as I said, I find that very exciting. It can be really hard and challenging, but it's also really rewarding at this stage in my life. And I think Lucinda would say the same thing too, that you're sort of in control of it, and you're driving that business. We're driving it ourselves. So there's also great freedom in that as well.
Moving away from the flapping and the hard work that goes on underneath, let's talk about the glossy exterior. What are the key moments that have made you feel like, wow, we're onto something good here? Have you had those moments where you're wow, this
we
is
do.
really...
And you know what? I think one thing I would say is you don't stop enough to really celebrate the wins. And that's something along with the balance that we're really trying to do. But yeah, we're so fortunate. Zara Home, launching Zara Home, that collaboration was really a wow moment. There has been so many along the way. And I think, we'll have a sort of team drinks at the office or we'll go out. But I would say too, just taking those moments together to just be like, gosh, that is amazing. And let's celebrate this. It's really important. But yeah, it isn't always so glossy, especially on hot days like this one. Summer in the city,
What would you say? Is there anything you can share with us that's, in one of those blue sky meetings, like a big goal or ambition that you have next, or anything coming?
I think I've alluded to it already, that we see Collagerie living, in the physical world as well as online. One of our visions and milestones ahead is how we can do more offline pop-up concepts, how we can one day hopefully have a Collagerie, multi-brand store, how maybe that can look different in different regions depending on the theme. So, we see the brand, being sort of very omni-channel in that sense. And when you think of, style and curation and shopping, you think of Collagerie. We want to be that first destination you come to in the journey.
Hugely exciting, and I can't wait to see what's next. Your curations are truly unmatched.
Oh, well, thank you.
We always close with the same question.
Okay.
What is your legacy piece of advice? So this is the piece of advice that you want to be remembered by.
Trust your gut. What's really interesting is the relationship between the stomach and the brain. And I would say that when you trust your gut, you don't often go wrong. In the, 5 years that we have been going, I think what is incredible is that Lucinda and I, as founders and as business partners, have come out of meetings with the same gut feeling. We just look at each other and we know. And that, I think, has served us really well. And I think been a key part of, our success. So I would say, listen to your gut.
Amazing. Where can the listener find you and Collagerie?
Well, they can find me in the sun. If the sun's out, I will be in the sun, whether it is on a bench, whether it's on the grass, whether it's in a lounger. I'm a summer baby. I had my birthday last week. So, I am, you'll find me in the sun. Where will you find Collagerie? Well, hopefully you'll find Collagerie, if you are in America, you'll find Collagerie in America. If you are in the Middle East, you'll find Collagerie in the Middle East one day. And, we see the brand being able to live, breathe, and be enjoyed globally. And so, we're putting more and more things into place and infrastructure on the back end into place so that we can truly be a global brand.
Amazing. And to the listener, race to Zara home and find that Collagerie collaboration because we're already waitlisted on certain products.
Yes, I have to say, full disclosure, I have already been to the store 3 times to make various purchases. I'm actually on the wait list for a floor cushion, which, hopefully will be out soon. But I would say if you haven't shopped it yet, it's still online. It's in some of the global stores. So try to get your hands on it if you still can.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
It would mean the world to me if you would share today's episode with someone you feel would enjoy it. And don't forget to hit subscribe, like, and leave a comment.